descendants of Adam, chosen by the Most High God. We started as kings, priests, became slaves 1619. We started as Hebrews and they renamed us Negroes. Now the roar of the lion has awakened his people.
The true biblical identity of the so-called Negro is the religious world's big dark secret.
The greatest mistake of the movement has been trying to organize the sleeping people around specific goals. At the end of the day, a lot of people are just scared to speak the truth, and that's the bottom line.
If you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, people will eventually come to believe it.
If you can control TV, movies, music, and distribution, you can control the narrative for a particular group of people. You have to wake the people up first, then you'll get action.
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
Bible, Christ tells us that one of the signs of the end of the world is deception. Distraction is considered by many to be a tool of deception. But what else will happen in the last days? There will be wars and rumors of wars, famines, pestilences, tsunamis, earthquakes, meteors falling to the earth, celestial signs, economic collapses, social decline, violence, the lack of love, food shortages, hunger, hyperinflation, sexual immorality, idolatry, blasphemy, false prophets, false Christs, and the fall of mystery Babylon, which hearkens the fall of the last ruling kingdom on earth. But there is one prophecy that is often overlooked and understudied in the Abrahamic faiths, and that is the prophecy of Gog and Magog, which is directly tied to the Battle of Armageddon, in which God delivers a final judgment to the nations a part of Gog and Magog's army. The people of Gog and Magog's massive army is recognized in Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. In Islam, Ya'juj and Ma'juj are trapped in a faraway land, but when the day of judgment comes, they will all gather together to conquer the world. In the book of Ezekiel 38 and Revelation 20 in the Holy Bible, it describes how the nations in this massive army of Gog and Magog will leave their homeland to come to the land of the true Israelites, to steal, plunder, and exploit the land and all the resources within it that the true Israelites are in possession of. They will cover the Holy Land of the Israelites like a massive cloud with their people, and at the end they wage war against the Israelites, in which the Most High will destroy them. Knowing all of this, why doesn't the Christian community, Hebrew Israelite community, Jewish community, and Muslim community have any answers about who comprises the nations of Gog and Magog's army today? The book of Genesis records Noah's son Japheth as having 7 sons: Magog, Meshech, Tubal, Gomer, Tiras, Madai, the progenitor of the Medes Persians, and Javan, the progenitor of the Greeks and Romans. Gog and Magog's prophecy in Ezekiel 38 lists 5 of these sons of Japheth as the nations who will come to the true Holy Land of Israel, covering it like a massive cloud. These Japhetic-speaking nations are not the descendants of Greek speakers or Roman Latin speakers, but are nations today speaking other Japhetic languages, such as Celtic, Germanic, Slavic, Turkic, Altaic, and Sino-Tibetan. So why is knowing who the nations of Gog and Magog's army is today so important? Because if we know who these nations are, including which land they are covering right now like a cloud, for the purpose of plundering and exploitation, we will know for the first time in history where is the true Holy Land of God's chosen people, also known as the land of Canaan. In the new movie Hebrews to Negroes 3, sound the alarm, Gog and Magog's army versus the Israelites. Find out who is who in this end of days biblical prophecy, and where the true land of the Israelites are. You owe it to yourself to know the truth. Satan's aim is to deceive the whole world, and Yah's aim is for us to receive truth, because the truth will set us free.
It's a powerful statement, brother. House of David is a real big show, Ryan. Amazon Prime, King David's life story. Of course, there's embellishments all throughout the story. And seeing it, it made me think about you because in your own personal opinion, expertise, research findings as well, do you think that King David was actually in the Congo and not in what we know as Israel today? Where was King David at? Solomon's temple, those real findings. Do you believe that all of this was occurring in Africa during that time?
Yeah, so King David, they renamed the land known as Jebus or Yebus, the Jebusites. In the Bible, it's Jebusites. The Jebusites were the descendants of the Canaanites. And he renamed that land Jerusalem, or, like the city of David. So we have to look at the fact that the Canaanites, and I put this in the movie, the Canaanites were little black people. And the Arabs in the Quran and in the Hadith, they have a history where Noah had 4 sons. And he had Shem, he had Japheth, he had Ham, and then he had a son named Yam, Y-A-M. And you say, well, wait a minute. Ham, Shem, Japhet, Yam, Y-A-M. And they say that this fourth son named Yam is synonymous with Canaan. And that this fourth son, Yam, some of the Hadith Muslim scholars say that he died in the flood. Like he wanted to stay on the mountains and not get on the boat. And Noah said, my son, get on the boat because you're not going to survive this flood. And then Yam said, no, I'm going to stay here on the mountain and take my chances. And they said that he died in the flood. But the Arabs got this so-called name Yam from the ancient Egyptian and ancient Roman and Greek history that they had been exploring and doing trade with a region known as the land of Yam. And the land of Yam was a sub-Saharan land that the Egyptians would go as far back as 2,300 BC, before Abraham was born. Before Abraham was born and Isaac and Jacob was born and Moses, the Egyptians already had documented in the tombs that they had took expeditions south, going up the Nile into the interiors of equatorial Africa or Central Africa. And when they went there, they brought back, it took them 6 to 8 months to go there and come back to get all the stuff that they needed. When they went there, they brought back leopards, panthers, ivory, well, ivory comes from an elephant. They had little black people. They captured them, and they had ebony. Ebony wood is a very dark wood. And this wood is seen in Central Africa. And they brought back monkeys and apes and birds that were only found in sub-Saharan Africa. In addition to that, they brought back many precious gems and minerals. And they got all this stuff, put it on a ship or a camel or whatever, and they brought it back to Egypt, including little black people. And this is in their text. And so the land of Yam, according to a lot of white historians, they will say, oh no, it's not sub-Saharan Africa. It's in Nubia. It's in Nubia. And then I seen an article by this Latino guy, and he said, you guys, all you guys are saying the same thing, but it does not make any sense that the land of Yam is in Nubia, because there's no elephants and apes, leopards, black panthers, black jaguars. None of this stuff is in Egypt or Nubia. So he said that there's something going on here where the white historians are trying to cover up the true location of the land of Yam. And he did a dissertation study on the land of Yam, the ancient land of Yam. And he did a lot of research. And I said, I know this guy is exactly writing down exactly what the Egyptians wrote down, not what the white man was doing with his element of bias. So that you would just look at it and be like, it's just Nubia. No, but when you look at these lands, David, when he was tending to the flock of his father, Jesse, he had to save a lamb or a sheep from a lion and a bear. A lion and a bear. There's no lions in Israel.
None. Yeah.
And the animals that they eat, the lions are not predators in the king of the jungle, so they can prey on sheep, and lamb and goat. God did not make the lion to be that big and to have fangs that big and claws that big and be so powerful so that they can just be preying on lamb and sheep and goats. And these things are running around in Africa like little dogs running around. So the lion was made to take down big animals like giraffes and wildebeest and zebras and African buffaloes, baby hippos, antelopes. Yes, the lion is meant to kill these things, not to be killing sheep, goats, and lambs. Because at the end of the day, if we look at all the animals that are in Israel, if lions existed there today in Israel, what would they eat? What would they eat? They would die. They would die because if the lamb and the goat and the sheep and the cows have a shepherd, then the lions can't get to it. So they're going to die because they don't have nothing to eat. They have no game running around to eat. But we know that in Africa, the lions have plenty to eat because they're still there. And due to natural selection, anywhere you see a large crocodile or a large lion or a large species of elephants, because that land is conducive to their survival. So the largest lion species on earth is the Congo lion. And the Congo lion can be seen in the Congo, in Kenya, and Tanzania, where there's a lot of game running around. They can eat that for days. And the largest elephant they have found was like 13 feet at the shoulder, almost as tall as a giraffe, walking through the forest, pushing the big against on trees and stuff. It's huge, massive. And this elephant was in Sub-Saharan Africa. I think it was in Central Africa. And so the largest bear species is called the Agriotherum africanum. That's the scientific name for the largest bear or carnivorous animal that is not a big cat. It's not a dinosaur. It's not a cat. It's not a dog. It's not a dinosaur. They call it the African bear. And they said it was larger than the grizzly bear and the polar bear and the Atlas bear. And this bear lived in where? They found it in Kenya, Ethiopia, South Africa, West Africa. Yes. And the skeletons of this bear are actually seen in museums here in South Africa, in the Western Cape. They have a museum called West Coast Fossil Park. And in this museum, you can see the skeletons of the bears that they found in the ground, right on the site. And they'll say, yeah, this site is built on where we found these bear skeletons. And so the bears were in Africa. Now, who killed them? The white man coming there when they came in and colonized Africa almost a thousand years ago. They come in with their guns, because at the end of the day, the Bible has to line up with their narrative. And if the Greek Septuagint once said rhinoceros, and now it says unicorn. If it once said giraffe or camelopardus, and now it says a stag. Well, a giraffe and a stag is two different things. And a rhinoceros in our King James Bible says unicorn. That's two different things. They understood that they had to change things around as they translated it from Greek to Latin to English, and to where we have it today. And so, and even in the Masoretic text that was written in Hebrew, they had to keep the word unicorn in there. They had to keep it in there because you're like, well, wait a minute, what's a unicorn? But it's in there because they don't want you to know and trace back that David lived in a land where there were bears and lions, just like Samson lived in the tribe of Dan. And it says in the tribe of Dan was mountainous. It was a mountainous land. But the tribe of Dan today in Israel is by the coastline. And by definition, any land by the coastline of Africa or Israel, like say like Accra and Cape Coast, there's not a mountainous land. It's not mountainous when you're living by the coast. But the tribe of Dan on the maps today in Israel is along the Mediterranean coastline. But the Bible says it was a mountainous land. And when Samson left to go to Timnah, where the Philistines were at, like Delilah, he went down the mountain. And when he got down to the mountain, he encountered a lion. And I'm like, wait a minute. Lions don't live along the coastline of the Mediterranean Sea. They don't live on the coastline of anywhere. They're not creatures that go to the ocean to fish. You're not going to see a lion walking along the beach. But this is what we're led to believe because we don't understand the Bible. And so we have to look at these things to understand that it's hard to accept these things. It's hard to say, well, that means that Christ was in the Congo and not Jerusalem today in the Middle East. Yeah, it does mean that. You just have to take your mind and say, it's not the place. It's not the place. Because no matter how you look at it, and a lot of these Israelites, even Yoshiyahu, he did a video. I know he's talking about me. He said, when the Israelites left the land, the animals left with them. And I said, what? I said, so when the Assyrians came and the Babylonians came, and they seized the land, you mean to tell me that when the Israelites left, the elephants, the zebras, the bears, the hyena, the ostrich, the jackal, the dog, the crocodiles, the leopards, all these the rhinos, they all just said, oh, they're going. Let's go. And they all just started walking with the Israelites. They started walking, not knowing that they're leaving their habitat, going like, where are these guys going? Are they going to a desert? How do we know if following these Israelites, they're going to lead us to the desert and we ain't going to have nothing to eat? We're living here in this land, eating and surviving, but when the Israelites are invaded by these other nations, then somehow, some way, these Israelites tell us that when the land is cursed or when the Israelites were invaded, that the animals left with them. So then I say, well, then where did Mount Zion go? Because Mount Zion in Israel is not a mountain. It's just a place. You can't go today to Mount Zion and you're in Jerusalem and you say, man, Ezekiel 20 verse 40 says a high mountain. It says Mount Zion is a high mountain. And you say, I'm looking everywhere for Mount Zion and I just don't see it. The Jews are going to say, well, no, because Mount Zion is not a mountain. It's not a high mountain. I know what your Bible says in Ezekiel 20 verse 40. But here, let's go. Let's walk. And they're going to walk you. They're going to say, okay, this is Mount Zion. You're like, what? Like, this is Mount Zion. We just walked a couple steps, a couple feet, meters, and now we're in Mount Zion? Yeah, it's Mount Zion right here. Nah, this is not what the Bible says. So we have to start getting out of this thing. And this is what I'll be teaching all the time and screaming to the top of my lungs on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and H2N TV, but they shadow ban me so much that a lot of the Israelites that are following all these organizations and assemblies, they don't when they hear this kind of stuff, they're like, nah, it's crazy. Ron's crazy. But if I'm crazy, then let's have a discussion. Let's have a debate. But they won't do that. They will not do that.
Going down. It's about to go down. We the people. Shema. Israel. 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 We the people of the book. I stay humble, I ain't even boasting. I'm just here telling you.
children of light, and we will never let up. Never giving up fight, yeah. We didn't make it through the night, yeah. Done the crawling all night, but keep your head up, Charlie. We were made for this life, yeah. Wait to see how we rise up. We've been down for too long, waiting for a come up. Better days around the corner. All the pain made us stronger, yeah. We aim for the long run, keep on surviving in this war for no reason. Now we changing the season, yeah. Storm is over now. Storm is over now. Me, I say storm is over now. Storm is over now. Storm is over now. Me, I say storm is over now. Storm is over. Change is coming tonight. Can see the sky start to clear up. We've been waiting for life, oh. Never giving up the fight, no. Start a countdown right now. About to take off, yeah. It's our time to rise, oh. We're the children of light, oh. We've been down for too long, waiting for a come up. Better days around the corner. All the pain made us stronger, yeah. We aim for the long run, keep on surviving in this war for no reason. It's over now. Storm is over now. Me, I say storm is over now.